glass to the roof off this place. Please welcome my Puerto Rican brother from another mother, Prince. I may not have been the most loved person in my life, but I know what love sounds like, and that is love. You know that? And I know that you appreciate it. I really do. I know that your heart is in the world. It's not just in one place. I know that your heart is all over the world. And I know that you could have chosen any place to be, and I know that you don't do a lot of television. And I'm honored beyond how I could ever interpret it to you, that you would choose my show. Now, let me ask you what all the other late night talk shows are asking themselves. Why?
The first time I was on the Alamo Awards, you showed me love there. I really appreciated it. And also, I find that this show represents all people. Yes. And I see all kinds of guests on here. And
Now, I'm not using profanity because of our connection. I have chosen to use the word artichoke instead.
If I can stop swearing, everybody can stop swearing.
I like that. If you have a mishap in the middle of the night, if you kick the edge of your bed, what do you yell?
Artichoke.
There's something about, it's almost like, there's something about the Forum and Madison Square Garden and things that remain, the soul remains in places like that. I love that you're in keeping it real, as you have by choosing the Forum. Also, tickets, the majority of tickets are $25. So, on behalf of the Latino community, I'd like to say thank you. We can eat, and we can drink, and we can see Prince for $25.
Well, I like to give props to Live Nation for that this event, because $25 is what we used to pay for concerts.
Absolutely, yes.
Then somebody called Ticketmaster came in, and so now we're showing who the real Ticketmaster is, and you know, we're putting the right price.
Well said. The Ticketmaster, yes. Now, you raise a lot of money for helping people out. Already, you've gifted $2 million to arts, education, and environment funds, right?
That much?
Yes, $2 million. Yes. And you auctioned off. I find it interesting. You played this guitar and you've auctioned it off.
Yeah.
How much did you raise?
We got $100,000 for that. Brother Lewis Hamilton.
Yes, $100,000. Do you have the guitar with you? Do you have it?
They're supposed to have it. Oh, okay.
This is the guitar. $100,000. Lewis Hamilton is a Formula One race car champion. That's you. Played by you.
It's gonna be hard to part with this. I'm just gonna tell you.
Do you get attached? Do you still have the first guitar you've played? Do you keep instruments like that?
No, a lot of my stuff gets stolen. There's Lewis right there.
Yeah. Beautiful. I love that. A lot of your
steal
stuff.
them shoes.
Yeah. For you. Your writer now is showing up. It says, well, Prince, when he gets here, I mean, I said he's 5 minutes out. He's in the car. He's leaving his house, and what you required was very simple: water, some juice, and organic tortilla chips, and 3 grapes. So Prince, you're vegan or you're vegetarian? Yeah.
I don't mess with no red meat though.
No. You want to live.
Well, something. Well, that's one thing. The other thing is we're finding out that, well, I probably better call a lawyer about this, but
Just say allegedly.
Allegedly, when you ask for a hot dog, you're getting.
You get an artichoke.
Well, you get what you ask for.
Yeah, so I like that you keep it like that. You know, you do love chips, and I understand that you love Latino. Your Latino influence. I think you got a little Latino.
They can't find
Corazon.
out. They can't find out who my mom's dad is, so you might be right.
She's Latina. He's Latino. Now, do you ever just kick it and go to Olive Garden with like a sweatsuit?
Oh man, I don't own a sweatsuit.
I like that. So in your vault at your house, you have, I understand, about 1,000 songs that you've written, and you could write a song every day. It is your life. It's your heart, and your soul is in writing.
Yeah, I'm in recording rehab now. I just do. I'm writing too much, so I'm taking a break. The industry's going through a lot of changes. I'm gonna just let that.
It has gone through a lot of changes. Do you think the internet? Do you think that's helped music?
It's helped the people who sell the music. You know, for an artist, you know, they don't make the money they used to. And I think we tend not to value things we can get for free.
Right.
If you put anything in the place of music and say you got it for free, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Now, when we were kids, we'd go to record stores and spend hours flipping through. They're like mining.
Absolutely.
You know, and flipping through things and being surprised that you found something that you didn't think was there. And there was a smell of vinyl and a feel of it. Do you miss that? Do you miss the smell of it?
I kept all my records.
You got them?
Yeah, that didn't get stolen from me.
Yeah. I imagine that you would have a huge collection and prefer to listen to music on vinyl.
Yeah, I grew up listening to that. And we take this for granted, but I am here today because of the golden age of the 60s, 70s, and 80s of music. And this is when artists played their own instruments. They wrote their own songs. They had to perform next to people like Ike and Tina Turner, Wilson Pickett, James Brown. I mean, you got to have your act together.
With so many songs, do you ever, I'm sure you don't forget your lyrics.
Oh, yes, I do.
Oh, do you? Have you said things that you said, well, where did that come from?
It just sounds like new language, so.
But other people sing your songs and they just kind of sing them out loud and don't, you know. What have you heard?
I don't mind fans singing the songs. My problem is when the industry covers the music. See, covering music means that your version doesn't exist anymore. A lot of times people think I'm doing Sinead O'Connor's song.
Right.
And Shaka Khan's song,
Yes.
when in fact I wrote those songs. And it's okay when my friends ask to do them, but there's this thing called the compulsory license law, which allows artists through the record companies to take your music at will without your permission. And that doesn't exist in any other art form, be it books, movies. You know, there's only one version of Law and Order.
Yes.
There's several versions of Kiss and Purple Rain.
And there should be one version of music.
You would think.
How can that change come about? How does that happen, Prince? How can we make that happen?
Well, with your help and people just talking about it, there have been a few journalists that have taken a stand and spoke on it, but you know, I don't know.
Will you take credit for the text craze and abbreviating words like "I would die for you"? Yeah. Will you take for you, see you, heart?
Well, there were many people playing with words and language for all of history, but there's so much craziness on the internet now. I don't want to take no credit for that.
Well said. Prince will be back to perform another song. Prince, what will you perform?
The Beautiful Ones.
DJ Rashida will play us into break. DJ Rashida.
Don't hide behind me. Everybody, this is Steve and Courtney. They're from Canada. Just so as you know, Canadians, they were clapping for Steve and Courtney, not for the entire country of Canada. We're not prepared to make that commitment yet. Anyway, I talked to Steve a little bit before the show started, and don't let me down, all right? You gonna do this? All right, I'll wait over here.
Baby, you mean everything in the world to me, and I love your guts. Will you marry me?
Now, so she said, yeah, right? Right. Now, you know what this means? The possibility of more Canadians. Now, I love Canadians. I love them so much that I let them come up here and do their business right in front of the camera. The thing is about God bless you, Canadians, they're so lovely, and then you put a hockey stick in their hand and they turn crazy. So anyway, look, Steve said, can I propose to my fiancée, in front of the audience, and I went, yeah, because I got nothing. All right. So, if you're tuning in for a show, that's probably the highlight, really. Perhaps we'll invite them back to consummate. Wait. No. That'll have to wait until we go to cable. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, Craig Ferguson.
That's enough, thanks. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Your applause must end. That's enough. Thanks, everybody. All right. Sit down, relax. Act as if no one got married. You can feel the electricity in the air this evening. It's that time of the year when Canadians mate. They come sweeping down from the hills in the north, doing their weird Canadian mating dance. How are you doing? Rivers of maple syrup pouring in celebration. Moose singing. La, 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 la. I'm filled with the joy of Canadian love. Congratulations, you kids. So, a great day for Canada, but also a great day for America, everybody. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's the day I wait for all year. This is the day I wait for all year. It's Barbara Walters' list of the 10 most fascinating people has just come out. This year, the list is just Tiger Woods and 9 women he's sleeping with. But other than that, do you know what happened today? Police in Texas seized thousands of ecstasy tablets. Ecstasy tablets. What's ecstasy? It's like ecstasy, but more gay. Do you have any ecstasy? Yes. Police, no, what they did is they stole thousands of, they didn't steal it, no, they didn't, the police didn't steal the ecstasy tablets. They seized the, well, it depends on your point of view, I guess. Anyway, what they did, the police confiscated all these ecstasy tablets and they, I can't say ecstasy. What the hell is that? That's some kind of Freudian penis, obviously. Anyway, they got all these drugs, these drug tablets with pictures of Obama's face on them. I know the drug dealers chose Obama because the pills make you feel hope and change and then send you off to a faraway place. And also, it's another, not only is Canadian love being celebrated today, not only Barbara Walters' 10 list of, but also, it's also today, it's Ozzy Osbourne's birthday today. Happy birthday, Ozzy! Happy birthday, Oz. And if you're watching the show tonight, Ozzy, he'd be like, really? You're 61! 61, Ozzy Osbourne. He doesn't look a day over 1,000. Oh, come on, that's not fair. Hey! Do you know that it's a sad day for Adam Lambert, though, isn't it? I mean, you know Adam Lambert, everybody's openly favourite gay guy. No, he's everybody's favourite openly gay American Idol runner-up. It seems like yesterday everybody's favourite openly gay American Idol runner-up was Clay Aiken, but things have moved on. So long, Clay. Aloha! Last week, Adam Lambert was kicked off Good Morning America. Today, he says he was kicked off 2 more ABC shows. He's in hot water because he misbehaved on the American Music Awards. And when I say misbehaved, I mean he simulated gay sex. And if that's a crime, then slap the cuffs on me, mister. Slap them on. Slap them on. Slap it. Tighter, I said, tighter. The safety word's banana. What happened? You're too young to know what the hell I'm talking about. Anyway, Adam Lambert simulated sex with the male dancers, then he kissed another one, and the kiss wasn't simulated. It wasn't a peck on the cheek. It wasn't the kind of kiss that I give the male guests when they come out on this show. Get ready, George Lopez. No, this was... But I watched the American Music Awards. I didn't notice the gay stuff. It must have been subtle. Do we have a clip from his performance? Let him tell us. Who put that? Where did that footage come from? Where did I get to put that in my office? Anyway. Banana. Anyway, because of his performance, Adam Lambert's been dropped from ABC's Big New Year show because, you know, he's doing too much gay stuff, I guess. But the show is being hosted by Ryan Seacrest. Mixed message, anyone? Anyway, Adam doesn't seem too upset with the whole thing. He said in his tweet today, I'm reading his Tweety on the Tweety Bird, and he says, this is his words, he says, let's focus on the positive, this will all blow over. helping. Now, listen, personally, I have no problem with Adam Lambert going on stage and kissing a guy, as long as he doesn't go on stage and marry a guy, which is illegal in 45 states. And some politicians take a very strong stand against the gay rights. They should probably choose their words a bit more carefully, though. Take a look at this.
I don't mind gays, but I don't want them stuffing it down my throat all the time.
Exactly my thoughts. Now, I understand why ABC is mad, actually. People watch TV with their kids. They don't want to see simulated sex, gay or straight. But Adam Lambert says there's a double standard. And you know what? He's right. He's right. He kisses a guy on TV and everybody's like, oh, oh, oh. Or some people are like, oh. When he kisses a guy, when two girls kiss on TV, nobody made a fuss. That's because two girls kissing is awesome. Anyway, but it is. It is. Even people that don't agree with me are like, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Remember when Madonna kissed Britney Spears at the MTV Awards? That wasn't a big deal. Maybe because Madonna kissing Britney, that's like a man kissing a woman. Oh, come on. She's a cockney now, Madonna. She's like, yeah, come here, Britney, give us a kiss, all right? We have to take a break. More Canadians are going to mate, and then we'll be right back. We'll be right back, everybody. Welcome back, everybody, to the Canadian mating show. If you're just joining us, what happened is that Courtney and Steve here, Steve proposed to Courtney. Courtney said, yeah, you still okay with this, right? You're still okay with it?
Oh, yeah.
All right. And then we thought, whoa, they've proposed on the air, and we didn't call Courtney's mom. And then we called Courtney's mom during the We called Courtney's mom during the commercial break, and she's not home. So now we're here. And what was... Well, wait. What was about to be a fabulous piece of television is yet another awkward moment. However, I've had a great idea. You can help me with the emails. Oh, yeah! All right. This will be great. This will be good practice for when you're married and you have to do emails together on your own show. All right, you ready? Who does the emails in your relationship? Really? What do you do for a living, both of you?
Go.
I'm a clerk at the hospital.
Clerk at the hospital? Yeah. Okay, that's good. What do you do?
Oh, a roofer.
A roofer?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are then. Bet you really wish you had cable now, huh? All right, this is from Jessica in Prescott, Arizona, all right? Jessica says, hi, Craig. My son is 5 years old, only recently began pulling his pants down, and now he won't stop mooning people. How can I stop him doing this embarrassing thing in public? Now, well, maybe Courtney, how did you stop him mooning? All right, this is from Conrad in Hollywood. All right, you want to read this one? Yeah, too far.
No,
All right. Conrad says, what's up, Craig? I'm moving to New York City next week. You know any places where I can get some good weed over there? Well, actually... No, I don't. I have to be honest with you, Conrad. The weed here, not as good as you would think. I mean, no, I'm not condoning the use of marijuana in any way. Now, I do. Do you guys smoke a lot of pot up there in Canada? You enjoy the pot, do you? Yeah, you probably get that at the hospital. You get the medical marijuana right there. You don't smoke the pot?
No.
What do you take the ecstasy? You take the ecstasy? So what do you do? Is drink the Canadian beer?
Yeah.
You guys enjoy bacon? That's not. I'm not trying to make fun of you. I'm because you got the Canadian bacon there, which we call ham. That's one of the many differences between our countries.
You try.
Okay, look, they're trying to alert me that your mom is on the phone. All right, Vicky.
Hello.
Hey, it's your mom.
I can barely hear you.
Vicky, my
Hello, I
name.
can barely hear you.
Vicky,
Hello.
can you hear me?
Barely.
Stay away from the light. Vicky,
Hello.
my name is Craig Ferguson. I
Hello,
want you.
how do you do?
How'd you do?
Great.
Vicky,
Yes.
your daughter Courtney is here. She has something to tell you.
Okay.
Okay. There you go.
Mom,
Yeah.
Steve asked me to marry him.
Congratulations.
Oh, see you, Craig.
Your dad is babysitting your puppy, so he'll have to hear about this later.
Hey, what did she say?
Babysitting
My
my
dad's
dogs.
babysitting our dogs. He'll have to hear about it later.
Do your dogs live in a different house, do you? Or do you make your husband sleep in the doghouse? Vicky, are you also Canadian?
Yes, I am.
Do you enjoy bacon? Probably does, I'm thinking. We're very fond of your daughter and your new son-in-law here in America. We've decided to keep them and teach them and teach them our evil ways.
Well, I'm very happy for hearing this news.
Oh, yeah, well, it's nice, and it's good for us because it really cleared up an otherwise spectacularly dull email segment.
Great.
Vicky, we gotta go. CBS can't afford this call. I just want to congratulate you on behalf of the people of the United States and congratulate Steve and Courtney, everybody. We'll be right back. Congratulations. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the big Canadian Emmy-winning show. My first guest tonight is a terrifically funny actor and comedian. He's a giant star. He's at the Nokia Theatre in Los Angeles, 6 shows starting on December the 18th. He's the host of Lopez Tonight. That's a clue to who it is. Take a look at this clip. George Lopez! Thank you!
Yes.
George!
My first gay kiss, allegedly.
Was that your first gay kiss? Come
Allegedly,
on,
I will say allegedly.
That wasn't really gay. That was, I mean, we could do a really gay one if you want.
Yeah, why not?
No, that's it. You don't want to scare the Canadians.
I do not want to scare the Canadians.
They're lovely.
Congratulations, by the way, to the Canadians.
Yeah, there you are. Now you're endorsed.
Hide all your golf clubs.
Yeah, really. You're happily married, aren't you?
I've been married for 16 years.
Oh, my Lord.
And it's just the start because my wife, almost 5 years ago, gave me a kidney.
Oh, wow.
So that I could live.
That's fantastic. That's amazing. That's right. I read about that. That's it. There's absolutely no way you can get divorced now, ever. It's just you could never.
You know, I didn't think we were that compatible in the beginning.
But no, that's whoa.
Apparently, I was wrong.
Hey, listen.
Most dudes don't want to hold their wife's purse. I got part of my wife inside of me.
Does it have a kind of GPS in it so she knows where you are at all times and everything?
You know, if I have allegedly gone to a strip club...
George, I'm shocked.
Allegedly.
Okay.
And if she squeezes herself really tight, I faint. I can just... It is something that women always say, your wife is a savior. You must have to be so nice to her now. And I'm like, not as nice as I had to be before.
Before the kid. Want a little breakfast, honey?
Now I can do whatever. Take the trash out. Why don't you take the trash out? No,
nice.
She's great, and I have a daughter that's 13 that is an equestrian. That's how much.
Really?
You know, yeah. I mean, you never wanna. They told me don't ever own something that while you sleep.
Yeah. A horse? You own a horse?
I own 2 horses.
That's pretty good.
That's what.
Do you ride horses too?
Hell no. That's what made Hammer go broke.
Hammer,
Horses.
that's right. Remember Hammer?
He bought horses.
That's right. He had hundreds of horses, and then they put these pants on them. He put the big Hammer pants on. You can't touch this. And that's why they always lost.
There was almost like a parachute. They would run, and they would almost be pulling back.
That's right. It was the air resistance. Hey, listen. Congratulations on the late night show.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Well done. Well done. Are you enjoying it?
You know what? Listen, I have to tell you, when I was putting the show together and people would talk to me about something, and they would always talk about what talk show was the easiest show to do. And then this is the truth. I talked to Lewis Black. I've talked to Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
I talked to people, and they said that you were the easiest show to do because you just flew by the seat of your pants. When funny's funny.
But that's what you were doing too. I've been watching the show. It's good. That's what you're doing.
Thank you. Now you have to reciprocate. Now you got to come on my show.
Am I funny enough to be on your show?
Absolutely,
I don't know.
man. And you got the right hair.
I got the Lopez hair. Look at that, man. Now, have you ever been over to Scotland? You're a big golfer. That's
yes. Listen, I love Scotland. I go every year, and I want to go until I'm not around anymore, and then I want to go and have my ashes spread on the St. Andrews golf course.
Really?
I love golf. I love your people.
Yeah.
The dental care, not the best.
Dental care, not the best. I think that's fair to say. These are American teeth here, buddy. I tell you that. I landed in California, they're like, this way to the dentist. That's right. Come on in.
But even if you hit a bad shot, the Scottish people, they make you feel good. You hit a ball and you're like, where did that go? You're doing great.
That's fantastic.
You're doing great. You're gonna
well, you really do go there.
And they find it. I mean, they find it. I mean, they should send Scottish caddies to find Osama bin Laden. They find it. They find a little ass golf ball. Oh, there it is. I mean, they find it. You can hit it 9 miles to the right, and they'll go, I'll be back in a minute.
George, you want to know the truth? All Scottish people carry a golf ball in their pocket. I have a golf ball. It's like, I'll get your ball, Mr. Lopez. Sure. Oh, here it is. It's okay, as long as you tip them, nobody's any the wiser.
But listen, the haggis, I thought Mexicans ate every part of a cow or a pig, but haggis is almost like when they clean the bottom of like a poultry area or after they've slaughtered, then they just go.
You're making my mouth is watering now.
Tell everybody what's in that.
The haggis is made from the heart and the lungs and the liver of a sheep, minced up with oatmeal and then lined in the sheep's stomach lining.
And it's as good as it sounds.
Yeah. in many ways. But you know what? You know where it's even better? Wrap it in a tortilla. Then you got something.
I might have thrown up in my mouth. I didn't think there was a lot of things that Tabasco couldn't heal.
Yeah, I know. You put Tabasco in haggis?
The Tabasco slid off of the side.
Oh,
like
yeah,
it was
I
like,
know.
oh.
Yeah, it would reject it in every way.
But it's in a pouch. It's almost like a tamale, but an evil tamale.
It is. It is an evil old world tamale.
Because it comes in a sack.
Yeah.
And you split it in the middle in hearts.
George, I know this. I'm Scottish.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I've eaten this stuff before many times. There's a reason why I live in California.
It really is amazing. Listen,
Yeah.
and my favorite, on the show, I use a glass that has a red tea on it. And my favorite beer in the world is Tennant's.
Tennant's Lager?
Yes.
I drank that stuff all the way to rehab. All the way there, man. I drank it, I swam in it, I poured it, I did my hair in it, I like, yeah.
But there must not be a kind of an alcohol percentage in Scotland.
No, they don't really care for numbers. It's about getting drunk quickly and efficiently.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's not mucking around with conversation or... It's like, we're going to get drunk. Now. Yeah.
And like that.
Yeah, and that's how they do it. That's how they do it. I'm so pleased that you liked it over there and you had a good time.
I go every year.
Really?
And I really love it. And the sweaters are, the cashmere
good
is
for
amazing.
Christmas. They're good for Christmas.
And listen, since there are not a lot of Latinos in there, I'm exotic.
It's like me in California.
Yes.
It's like, this is like the reverse universe.
Yeah.
And our hair is kind of the same. Why? I think there might be a sitcom in this.
I like the way you think.
I think that might work.
Yes.
How did you get into all this growing up? You grew up in California,
Yeah,
right?
you know, I was an only child and my grandmother raised me.
Right.
And my grandma was really, really very tough, you know, and just watching a lot of TV by myself. And I saw Chico and the Man with Freddie Prinze.
I loved Freddie Prinze. He's a
And,
great stand-up
yeah.
comedian, Freddie Prinze. Yeah.
And, you know, him and his son and I are very good friends. His son just became a father, Freddie Jr. But when I saw Freddie Prinze, I wanted to be a comedian, and I've been doing it for 30 years.
Wow, that's
and,
fantastic.
Yeah.
That was the same with me with Billy Connolly.
Yes.
With Billy Connolly, because I had never seen someone who spoke in my accent, like on TV and performing, and then I saw Billy, and I was like, oh, wow, so you're allowed to do it then? Was that the same with you?
But I got to tell you that Billy Connolly doesn't get the respect in America that he should as a global comedian.
I think that's
because
true.
he's so good at what he does. He's almost like the Caucasian Pryor.
Yeah.
Because he talks about things that are real. And he's almost like, he would be like the equivalent to Richard Pryor.
He's very, very edgy as well. I think comedians, though, I mean, you're talking about Lewis Black or yourself, and, you know, really, really good comedians, they tend to know and see, like Robin Williams is always going on about how good Billy is and what an influence he is.
Yes.
I think he's fantastic.
I mean, he looks homeless now, but he's fantastic.
Who do you rate out of do any of the youngsters you like in the stand-up? Is anybody that you think's really got it?
Well, you know, Chris Rock is coming up. He's nice.
Oh, wow, yeah, he's all right. Yeah,
no, he's been around. You know, I really don't. I don't go to the clubs much.
Really?
And
I have to go and do it. I get a new act together, so I have to go do 10 minutes at the Ice House in Pasadena and all that. Do you still do that?
I don't do that.
You don't?
I send one of my people.
Send your assistant to go and do 10 minutes and see if I'm funny.
Move your eyes around. And
George, it's lovely to talk to you. Congratulations on the
Thank you.
success of the show. And I'm going to try and come see you.
Absolutely.
Can I come see you at the Nokia? I'd love to see you.
You know what? How about this?
What?
How about you come and open for me at the Nokia?
How about no? How about no?
How about I open for you?
Okay, we'll talk. All right. George Lopez, everyone.
And now, a Sean Connery holiday memory.
Oh, hello. You don't know me, you bastard. You think you know me? I love you, man. It was Christmas 1942. My family was too poor to exchange Christmas gifts, so we instead exchanged dirty looks. That's a wee joke there. It's not true, of course, although I did give my sister herpes. Also a joke, it's a joke. I didn't give her a herpes. She already had herpes. My next guests are a pop rock band. They're here performing their hit single, All the Right Moves, from the new album, Waking Up. Please give a warm welcome. Imagine that you're Canadians and they're coming into your house for some bacon. One Republic, everybody, One Republic.
What did we learn on the show tonight, Greg?
Wish I had a cat that could do that. I'd get out of here and make some real money. Traveling the country, me and my amazing bird burping cat, Mr. Feathers. Ah, a man can dream. So, here's what I think. I think it was this show is usually crap, but I actually think tonight it was awesome. Cause no. All right. No, it was awesome. Cause I like George Lopez and I like One Republic, even although it seems like their appearance went very quickly. And it's the first time we've ever had a marriage proposal on the show, and, you know, it was, Steve and Courtney, the Canadians, and they, I'll give you a quick highlight reel. Imagine, like, it's after the Super Bowl, and I'm just telling you what happened. Steve went down on one knee, and he said, "Courtney, I love your guts," which is some kind of, obviously some kind of Canadian joke. And then she was like, "Uh-oh," it was awesome. And then I think to myself, you know, in all these years, I've become bitter and jaded. I've become some kind of show business whore. But every now and again, a couple of fresh-faced youngsters walk into the studio, and I kind of remember. I kind of remember what it was like when I was out there, starting out. Just me and my burping cat, Mr. Feathers. And how we traveled from town to town. And then I also remember this. And it's true. And I want to share this with you. Because there's a lot of joking goes on in late night. Not necessarily in this show, but in other shows. People joke and make fun and are cynical and say mean things about other people, and that's our job, and I understand that, but, you know, when it comes right down to it, it's love. Love is what matters, baby. And I'm not talking about exciting cable love. I'm talking about wholesome network love. Congratulations, you two. Good luck. Good night, everybody.
What was that like with Johnny Carson? Nothing, I imagine, can compare to the primordial nature of television back in the 1970s and early 80s when that was it. If you were on Johnny Carson, something like 80 to 90% of America was watching you in that very moment. That must have been a hell of a trip, dude.
I mean, I was in Las Vegas and Johnny Carson was going to retire. And in the summer of 91, the USA Today in the Life section had a comedian named Ron Schock, and he was going to be one of the last 6 comedians to be on the Tonight Show before Johnny leaves in 11 months. So I started to think, man, that's like Willy Wonka in the chocolate factory. There's 5 tickets out there, and who's going to be the 5? And I'm thinking, well, it's not going to be me. You know what, man? It was me. I got one of the 6 spots.
God damn.
Man.
I'm Rick Sanchez, and this is the Rick Sanchez podcast. And boy, we've got a real treat for you. We talk a lot about something on this show that makes us very unique as Latinos. And you know what it is? Man, we are so friggin' resilient. There's something about the spirit of being a Latino in the United States. I mean, everybody knows we work 42 hours a week. The average non-Latino works 33 hours a week. We hire more people. We start more jobs. But the one thing we do, I think, the one thing we do as Latinos in America that makes us different is we just don't give a crap, man. You knock us down, we're going to get back up. You knock us down, you fire me, I'll get another job. I don't care. It's fine. We're like the frickin' Energizer Bunny, right? That's kind of who we are. It's who I am. I mean, how many times have I failed? I've told you all everything I've learned in my life is because I've gotten knocked down, right? And we start that way. And there's one guy, right? When you think of Latinos in America, there's one guy in particular who always comes to mind. And this is a guy who never had it easy, right? And part of the reason he never stops, he's always going, he's always winning, is because life's never been easy for this guy, right? It didn't start easy, and from time to time it hasn't been easy, but he's always, está ahí, está aquí, as we say, está arriba. And I'm proud to know him. And I'm proud to say that, representa, right? He represents. George Lopez is good enough to join us now. How about that, huh?
That's quite an introduction.
How come nobody claps for me?
Yeah. I never thought it was going to be me, which I think is maybe one of the essential tools you need to be successful is you can't think it's going to be you because the odds are so stacked against you that thinking it would be you would be seeing a result before you've created a result. So I never thought it was me. And then I was going to go and see if it could be me. But my grandfather was not my biological grandfather. But he told me that I was lazy, that I was going to grow up to be lazy. And I think that could have been negative reinforcement or negative, but that doesn't work with kids these days. And it worked with me back then only because life was so simple. He was one of the few adults I ever saw in my life. So I had to listen to what he was saying. He was saying right in front of me. And I would just say, we'll see. We'll see.
My mother worked in a factory, and your grandmother who raised you worked in a factory. And it's funny because those of us who even know that word, it means so much to us. You're poor when your parents worked in a factory. I don't know a non-Latino or a white kid who has ever said to me when I've said to them, oh, what did your parents do? They've said, oh, my mom worked in a factory. Even just the word factory has a very special meaning to guys like you and me, doesn't it?
Man, I've never heard anybody say it like that, but yes, and everybody was looking for out here in Van Nuys, California, the General Motors job, the Lockheed job, Northrop, Aerospace, JPL, and they all had, there was nepotistic, they got in,
yeah.
But I never wanted to do that in my heart or soul. Like, I didn't know what was going to happen. I just knew that I didn't want to do that, put an ashtray in a Camaro for 40 years.
And by the way, wait, let me say something. That's a job at the plant. You would say, oh, my mom or my grandmom or my dad, he worked at the Ford plant. My dad worked for Chevrolet. My dad worked for Ford. When you say my mom worked at a factory, you know what that means? That means they worked in a place where you don't even know what the hell the product was. They were, in my case, my mom sewed shoes from some company that nobody ever heard of called Suave or Siboney. But it's not like a job at the plant. It's not like it came with great benefits, you know this. So it's a job, man. It's just a job, right?
You know, it's when you're saying that, whenever I used to go to town with my grandmother or grandfather, and I saw some kids that I may have known from school, I would duck down so they wouldn't see me with them. But in reality, I should have stood up. I just realized that I used to duck down not to be seen with them. They didn't know them. I knew them, and I didn't want to be seen with them. But they weren't bad people. They were deficient in what areas all people of that age, of that time, would have been deficient in. Caring about other people. Yeah. They didn't have any sympathy for anybody. Everything was like, you're all right, get up, come on, we gotta go. And there was nothing that ever you could just, was any urgency to make sure, are you okay? Are you all right? If somebody were to do that, they would say, yeah, you know, he's all right, thank you. He doesn't need anything.
George, you grew up with your grandmother, really, your mom's mother, maternal grandmother,
yeah,
and your grandfather somewhat, although you describe him as not a really nice guy, kind of mean, right? What happened to your parents?
My mother, in San Fernando, California, my mother was always somebody who, first of all, she wasn't entirely mentally well, and she would just kind of go out and, you know, come back with a guy, and, you know, come back with a TV, come back with a new refrigerator. I mean, I don't know how she did it. I mean, she didn't write, and I tried to teach her to read when I was in fourth grade, and I couldn't do it. You can't teach an adult to read in fourth grade. And one of the things that was very painful to me to see was that they would have an open house, and she would come to the open house, and you'd have to sign in. And I would be like, no, you know, she's okay. And then she would make an X. That's when an X was an approved signature. She would make an X.
Wow.
That just lays on you, man. Like, oh my God. You know, I wasn't a straight A student, so there wasn't any clamoring to see what my work was going to reveal about me, you know, and that was just so internally destructive to me that those may have been the seeds that were planted to find those nuances that made us who we were, but also that you could share with other people. So they knew that if they saw the same thing, like you said, we're resilient.
Yeah. When I went to NBC to work after I was working in local, and I knew that I grew up like you, and my parents don't speak a lick of English. My dad only has a fourth grade education. He barely knows how to read and write, except for what he taught himself. And suddenly I found myself there. I don't know if this happened with you. When you're Latino and you grow up really poor and you look around your surroundings and you don't think you mix in with the big other kids. I go to NBC, my first gig up there, and I'm surrounded by all these people. They're all Ivy League school guys. Their parents are kind of famous. They've got lawyers. They got PR people. And a lot of them, you know, you're interviewing today the Secretary of State. He's coming in from the White House, and you're sitting next to Tom Brokaw. You're sitting next to all these famous people I've seen on TV. And I'm feeling, we have this word in Spanish, it's coaccionado, right? It means like I'm kind of embarrassed. Do I belong here? What am I going to do when I'm going to have to fight through this crap? And then somehow along the way, I don't know how, George, I don't know how, but I think I finally figured out that because I didn't have all those things, I had always had to work a little harder, and I came at it a little differently, and I had two cultures, and in the end, I had stuff those guys didn't have. But in the process, man, it's hard to figure that crap out, or at least it was for me. I don't know what it was like for you.
Well, I mean, one of the things that drew me to you and your style was that como no tienes pelos en la lengua, you know, you don't hold anything back in a space where everything is held back. You had very honest opinions, and you stuck by your opinions. which is something that not a lot of people do. They speak on their opinions one day, then the next day, hey, listen, I'm sorry I said that. I don't know what I was thinking. You have to, the times that I've been doing stand-up, and I was always afraid of what people might think or if anybody would get upset. And I think I was that way because those thoughts weren't mine. But now that they're mine, I don't apologize because comedy's indefensible. You know, there's some things in comedy that you don't do, just like a police would never relinquish his gun. It's just like there's things that you're not supposed to do. And in comedy, you're not supposed to apologize for comedy.
It says in your biography that you were inspired by Freddie Prinze. Those of us old enough to remember know that Freddie Prinze was kind of in many ways, one of the most talented human beings we've ever seen performing, and also one of the most tortured people we knew. What was it? What was it that inspired you about Freddie Prinze?
Well, you know, I believe that in the summer of 73, 74, when the TV guy would come out with a fall schedule, and that show was in a Chico and the Man. And then during the summer of 73, and they started to run promos of Chico and the Man. I think he was Hungarian, Puerto Rican, playing a Chicano. I wasn't into that whole thing about, hey, only a Chicano could play a Chicano. But his magnetism, his personality, I didn't know underneath that the way that a manager that we both shared said that he had a man's body, but a child's mind. He was very 6'2" and looked very confident on the outside, but was a lost boy inside and on drugs from back in New York. So, you know, you come out here and you're a sensation and you don't know what's happening. And it's all happening so fast that, you know, everything he did was not the correct thing for him to do. And then back then, I don't even think they had the Betty Ford Center. You know, they would fire you. If you used drugs, they would fire you and then you would just disappear. But he wasn't around that long, but he made quite an impression on me because that was the first time that I ever really saw somebody that I would consider love at first sight.
You mean because you identified with his character, because you identified with his background, or because you just...
I identified with the look, identified with the idea that he was a stand-up doing a television show, which I never equated, you know, and then, you know, years later when in 2001 or 2, when I first started to do interviews, and they would say, well, who are your comedy idols? And I would say Freddie Prinze. And it was a new conversation because he'd been away for so long. And when I was 17, I stole his headstone from Forest Lawn, you know, as if taking it was going to give me.
Did you really? You really stole his headstone?
Yeah. It was already loose, but yeah.
What the hell did you do with it?
I kept it between my mattresses for years so that I don't even know what I thought was going to penetrate through the mattresses, but which I'm not proud of. But it just goes to, I mean, it's proof. It's a footprint to the time that I would say I was obsessed. But when they came to me about the Hollywood Star and me, the 100th episode, I told them that I wasn't going to go in until Freddie Prinze went in, and nobody ever petitioned Freddie Prinze to be in. And then Johnny Grant at that time, rest his soul, said, well, we'll look and see. And then he was not in. And then I paid for him to be in. And his family, I knew it was Kathy Prinze, a wife, and Freddie Jr. And so what I did later brought them all together on Hollywood Boulevard, friends from New York. And it was quite a celebration for Freddie and Freddie Jr. Very emotional.
What was it like the first time you did stand-up?
In 79, wow. We asked a wino to buy us some wine at like a Bristol Farms on Westwood Boulevard, and we pushed it. It was a cork. We pushed the cork down with a pen, and me and my buddy Ernie were drinking. He didn't even go on stage. I don't know what he was drinking.
This isn't going to end well, but keep going.
And it was going to null the pain, but it was all, you know, Rick, it was all frightening, man. I mean, I was scared of everything already, and that would have had to have been the most terrifying thing that I was ever going to do.
Yeah.
And when you look back, it's like, what would make you go back? And I don't have the answer to that.
But you obviously figured it out. I mean, you've become, to this day, one of the most sought after comics in the United States. in
I
both
had-
the little
I had a-
screen,
I
the
had
big
a
screen,
big-
the live screen, everything, man. I mean, you
I had a baseball coach that told me that when things got tough, I quit, and that quitters in life don't go anywhere, don't do anything. He goes, come back in 10 years and let me know how you're doing. I bet you I can tell you right now, you're not doing a damn thing. And
he said that.
we were with my baseball coach in high school. We were nose to nose, and we were going at it. And I turned around, and my friends were just like, "Wow!" And I started to play golf maybe a year or two out of high school, and it was very difficult to learn.
Yeah.
And when it got difficult to learn, I would quit, pick up the ball, and tell those guys, "Hey, I'm only going to play 9 holes. I'm going to take off." I forgot I had something to do, but I was lying to them, and I was lying to myself. And then on the way home one day, it's almost like his head appeared behind me, and he said, "When things get tough, you pack it in." And I pulled over to the side of the road. And I kind of evaluated my life at that point, which wasn't a lot to do. And then I figured out he was right. And I went to the school. I hadn't been there maybe in 4 or 5 years. And I went to the school, and I was walking across this field, and he was kind of looking like, who is that? And he says, "Is that my third baseman?" I said, "Hey, coach, how you doing? What brings you here?" And I told him that I had to come and apologize to him, because if I didn't, I don't think I could have lived my life peacefully without taking the responsibility of making his life harder. And then what he said to me was right. And it's the first time in my life I ever apologized to somebody. I would just disappear and not talk to the person anymore.
Fascinating. Are you still scared when you perform?
No, not at all. I may get tired, but I'm not scared. And I've been transcribing my shows like a dictation for the last 20 years. So I have all these shows that I've done, and there's stacks of them, and the DVDs are put away. And it's a great tool to look back, almost like if a paralegal was going to go and look up some case, I could go back and look up what I did in 2005, and then keep track of everything new and move everything old out. And I think I'm not afraid. I'm always very well prepared, which I wasn't. I'm opposite of what I used to be, not prepared. And I look back on those things either on the plane or during the day of shows, and it keeps me kind of in that cut right there.
Everybody says that you were discovered by Sandra Lopez and her, Sandra Bullock and her production team. I mean, that's the palaver, el cuento, as we say out there. How much of that is true, or how much of that is nuanced?
Let's see. That's a good question. I didn't know her from anybody.
Yeah.
And Dave Chappelle had been at this club in Austin, and Sandra lived in Austin. And the manager comes after the first show, and he goes, "Hey, man, guess who's coming? Sandra Bullock." And I was a little sloppy. I was drinking. I wasn't very professional. The material I wasn't, fond of. Just kind of going through a dead end thing in the late 90s. And then I actually got on my knees, and I prayed for her not to show up. Please. I didn't know her. I didn't know what she was going to think of me, but I prayed that she would not come to the show. And before the start of the second show, the guy peeks his head, and hey, she called, she's not coming. And I was embarrassed of what I was doing, but also less than 2 years later, she saw me out here, and I was so impressive because I kind of was changing the way I approached comedy at that time, because I was just on a dead end place. I'm like, I gotta get out of this. And I was more prepared. And she came to see me, sat in the middle. And when she came backstage, she said, "Your life is like a train wreck that you can't turn away from. And let's come to my office and let's talk. And let's see what else we could find in there that's a train wreck." I said, "Yeah, all right." Train wreck.
But wait a minute. Your show that she, I guess, had a hand in at least highlighting or having it come to fruition. You played a dad, a regular guy, a very likable, normal. Other than the fact that you were funny and you were like every other dad, like I am, like my dad was with me, which made you very relatable. There was no train wreck there. So how did you go from that perceived train wreck guy to the really cool Latino dad on TV, probably the most famous Latino dad ever, with the possible exception of maybe Desi Arnaz?
Yeah, I went through and here's another thing that people where I come from, I was hitting golf balls over here. My manager calls me. He's like, "Are you on your way?" I'm like, "Man, I'm not going." "What do you mean you're not going?"
What?
"What's she gonna do for me?" Because hey, they called. At 1 o'clock, they'll be waiting for you. "Why would you not go?" I said, "What is she gonna do? What is she gonna do for me?
Wow.
What has anybody ever done for me?"
Oh my
He's
God.
He's like, "You better go. You better go." And again, I would just say, "I'm not going." And I went. We spent 3 hours talking, laughing, and we just kind of attached it to the fact that I used to work with my grandmother in a factory. And then I was married and I had one kid, and then we created the boy and a girl. And then the mom character was my grandmother, and my best friend Ernie was really my best friend Ernie. And Angie was Anne, and Carmen was Chicha's daughter named Carmen, and Max was my grandmother's poodle, Max. And we just attached it to the things that were family oriented and workplace oriented. And then from there, we started to unravel the relationship between myself and my mother and myself and my wife. And I describe the show this way. Trying to prove to his mom he's not a boy, and trying to prove to his wife he's a man. And
Wow.
it worked.
Yeah. I can't believe what you just said, though, that you had this opportunity to sit with them, that they were courting you, and there was something inside you that said, "No, I don't want to go." Were you really saying, "I don't deserve this"? Is that what you were saying?
I think I was afraid of anything.
Yeah.
You know, I think I was afraid of, I didn't have any adult male figures or anybody in my biological family that would have given me any information or advice that would have helped me growing up. And it was very, very primitive, man. I think Jodie Foster did a movie with Nell. I think she was raised by wolves. And I don't know, Rick, man, I can't tell you what it is, but I think the main thing is that if you quit, you're out. And if you don't quit, you're in. And no matter how far in you are, it's like all of the things that you were told, and then has to be, like I used to go down Barham and pay the rent late, and I would drive by Warner Brothers, and I would think to myself, what do you have to do to get in there? And that's why I did my show. So in a sense of manifest destiny,
Mm-hmm.
manifesting destiny is always good, because you never know. I mean, I manifested destiny without even being aware of what manifest destiny was. I just had these things in my head, and if I put it out there, I'd get it done. And I didn't realize that till a friend told me that maybe 15 years ago.
One of the cool things about you is that you've been very, very consistent throughout your career. I think, obviously you've had jobs, lost jobs, got just like every other human being in this planet, but you've been very, very consistent. Is that something about your habitual sense? Is it something about your sense of organization? How have you maintained that level where most people in our profession, even more in your profession, because you're more on the entertainment side and I'm more on the news side, have a tough time with that? Somewhere along the line, they just get dogged somehow.
I was never really connected to anything human. I was more connected to things that were inanimate. Guitars, golf clubs, but humans, no. I never saw a healthy relationship growing up. And then I started doing stand-up at 18 and started traveling at 23, 24. I'm 61. Been traveling. It's an I picked the things you can do by yourself. You can play guitar by yourself. You can golf by yourself. And stand-up, you're the only one on stage. So in all of these years that have passed, and in a vacuum, I would say the thing that has benefited me the most was the fact that I didn't connect to anything or anybody. So I didn't have I didn't let leaving your family to go on the road affect me. When I was standing behind the curtain in 91, when I did the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, and then 31 years later, a month ago in New York with Jimmy Fallon, while they were coming back from commercial, I said, man, I stood behind this curtain 31 years ago. Did I believe 31 years ago that I was going to be standing back here 31 years later? I would have said no. I would have said no.
What was that like with Johnny Carson? Because even today, going on Fallon and going on some of these other shows is big, but nothing, I imagine, can compare to the primordial nature of television back in the 1970s and early 80s when that was it. If you were on Johnny Carson, something like 80 to 90% of America was watching you in that very moment. That must have been a hell of a trip, dude.
I mean, I was in Las Vegas and Johnny Carson was going to retire. And in the summer of 91, the USA Today in the Life section had a comedian named Ron Schock, and he was going to be one of the last 6 comedians to be on the Tonight Show before Johnny leaves in 11 months. So I started to think, man, that's like Willy Wonka in the chocolate factory. There's 5 tickets out there, and who's going to be the 5? I was in a hotel in Vegas at the Maxim in a Playboy Girls of Rock and Roll review show, and I'm thinking, well, it's not going to be me. I'm over here in the Playboy Girls of Rock and Roll. I'm so far from being ready. And you know what, man? It was me. I got one of the 6 spots.
God damn.
Man. I can't believe it. I mean, I still, even saying it to you, I still don't believe it.
Johnny frickin' Carson, man. That's like the Super Bowl.
And, you know, and about 2 months ago, a jeweler came to my wardrobe person and said, hey, I got this kind of strange request. You know, Jonas, this guy, this jeweler to the stars, got a presidential Rolex, and the Rolex used to be owned by Johnny Carson. I'm like, what? I remember Johnny Carson having a Rolex, and it's shining on the Tonight Show. And I'm like, well, how did he get it? Oh, you know, his widow gave it to a guy she was dating. They didn't end up getting married, and he still held it. And he hadn't worn it in 10 years, and he was going to sell it, and it had all the documentation. And he wanted to know, the jeweler said, I think I know the perfect couple guys for this. Went to me first, and then he said, if you don't like it, don't feel any pressure to buy it. And then Dick Wolf was the guy who wanted to buy it. Dick Wolf wanted to look at it. And I, when the minute I held that watch in my hand, it just kind of like this thrust of like light went through me, like just through me. And holding it. And outside of my building at NBC, where my dressing room is, the Johnny Carson building, and NBC's right there. And I bought it.
Wow.
And he was wearing it the night that I did the Tonight Show in 91 when he came down the hall and he and I shook hands.
What was that like, by the way, doing the show? Did you pinch yourself a little bit?
I got seen by the talent scout at the Improv. And he said, oh, I like you. You know, very dismissive. You know, I like you. Why don't you put some stuff together and give me a call in a week, 10 days and see where you are. So then I worked on it all day for 7 days. I call him up. I go to Burbank to his office where you can see Der Wiener Schnitzel from outside of the NBC office. And he was at his desk in his chair, and I was in front of him, and he said, okay, let's see what you got. No audience, nothing. I told jokes to one guy, and he just went, a couple times. And he said, all right, move this here, move that there, and move that there, and give me a call in a week and 10 days. So I had been working on it, but then I was at the Improv, and I was just going to work it out. And he walked in, and he saw me, and he said, hey, are you going to do the stuff for the show? I'll look at you right now. And I wasn't planning on seeing him, but I was going to do stuff for the show. And I did it. And when I walked out, he shook my hand and said, congratulations, you got the Tonight Show.
Wow. What a story. You mentioned a little while ago that one of the reasons you've been very successful and very driven is because you've never really, I don't know what word or what verb to use here, but maybe you've never given yourself the luxury or allowed yourself to tie yourself to any one person or any one human being. And, you know, in life we have children, I have children, you have children, you know, wives, loved ones. I too have always felt like I was just driven to get to the next thing and nothing would get in the way of that, which is why I guess I ended up interviewing 4 or 5 presidents and working at NBC and working at CNN and working at Fox and doing all that shit. And part of it was because that actually became more important than anything. Not that I don't love my wife and I don't love my kids, because I really do, but I almost relate a little bit to that sense of drivenness that you just described. Can you put it into your words for us?
I would say, man, I think I've said, and that, you know, I don't want it to seem. I wanted to be somebody in a place where everybody was nobody. Not that they weren't not that they weren't important, but they just got up every day and went to the same place, and I didn't want that. And I didn't settle, or did I not want to settle like these guys have settled, you know, and I just thought that I was different, not better, but I just felt inside that I was different.
Yeah, I know. And I guess what you're trying to say is you don't want to come across as callous, because I don't think you are. And I know the people who love you, and you love them back. But
everybody there made their life decisions so early, I didn't want to do that. You know, I didn't want to make a decision that I would be working in this place for 30 years when I was 19. And stand up, I didn't know if I was going to be any good at it, but I just felt like that was like young Chicanos use boxing or Latinos use boxing. I just thought, I didn't even know how far I was going to get. I just felt like I couldn't live the life of a 9-to-5 guy. I already done that. I didn't like it.
You just said Chicano instead of Latino, and I totally relate to that, because I think there's something in the spirit of, you know, Los Angelinos, somebody who is from Los Angeles and is Latino, who has, it doesn't mean that you can't identify with a Cuban or a Cuban from Miami or a Puerto Rican from New York or a Hondureño from Chicago. But there's something in the spirit of being a Mexican American from LA, which is a little different. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know, no different than being a redneck dude from Tuscaloosa. It's just, there's a part of the regionality of who you are. Can you
I think people that come from New York sound like they're from New York.
Yeah.
And people that come from LA look like they come from LA. And, you know, the whole Chicano, you know, in the 70s, we were Chicanos in the 70s, and they had brown berets, and they had all these brothers, and they had these car clubs. And then in the late 70s and 80s, then the paisas from Mexico and El Salvador and Guatemala was coming to Los Angeles, and they were the ones that would, you know, be dressed from the waist down, you know, no shirt, but boots and slacks. And they'd be working on their car with a lamp outside, and they'd got to be holding a lamp. And somebody said, how would you describe a Chicano versus a non-Chicano? And I would say, you know, when you play basketball and they have the shirts and the skins are from Mexico and the shirts are from the United States, because I'm never taking my shirt off to work on a car outside. They had no qualms.
Me neither. The same with these guys. Have you ever been with a bunch of guys? I remember when we were growing up, we'd play baseball or we'd play basketball, mostly basketball, and you'd play shirts versus skins. And like, no, I'm not taking off my shirt to play basketball with you. I mean, I'm just not. It's just not my gig. I mean, I don't do that. So,
you know, I started to let the shower steam up, so when I got out, I wouldn't have to look at myself.
It's like
it's just like a blur going by, you know.
Did you ever, in your wildest dreams, imagine that the George Lopez show would be the sensation that it became?
No, I would say no. You know, and there was a big decision that had to be made because, you know, it was after 9/11. We premiered in 2002. After 9/11, all the comedies at every network went down. Like, they didn't have a chance. Everybody was watching news and or watching Datelines and all the 2020s and Nightlines. And those went away. And then we had sold the pilot in like November, December. No, in May. So we were writing the pilot August, September, October, November, started to read actors in December. And then in the middle of January, or late January of 2002, there had to be a decision made. We're all Warner Brothers. Sandra was there, Bruce Helford, and all the presidents and people in casting at Warner Brothers. And they said, well, what do you want to do? You want to wait till September, or do you want to try to go into the mid-season, you know? And nobody had an answer. And then Sandra said, well, let's ask George. You know, what do you think? And I said, wow. And I was always a person like, let's go now and find out. Better to find out I think my grandmother would say that. Better find out now than find out later.
Yeah, right.
So I decided to go at the mid-season, and I think it was maybe the toughest decision that I had to make in my life at that time. And then also, I think it was the right decision to make. And we had to retain 85% of the lead-in, and we retained 93.
Wow. Pretty close.
Pretty close. That was kind of a small window, not to lose 15% of your lead-in. That's very tough.
But the show, how long was the show on the air? I know
The
it's
show,
still
we
on
did
the air.
120 episodes. So we started in the end of March in 2002, and then we ended in May in 2007.
And you still get something from that?
Oh yeah,
nice, huh?
Yeah, I'm a creator, so I have points in the show. So they've been buying it every 4 years. I mean, it hasn't been off the air in 20 years, but it's been in syndication since 2007, and I think in 4-year blocks, and they just have kept buying it over and over again.
Why? What was it about the show, or maybe about you, that made America fall in love with that show when it was some weird Latino dude from frickin' LA, which is nothing like Leave It to Beaver or, any of those other shows that we grew up with?
I think, what would you say it was?
Was that Momo?
Yeah, I think the structure of the family was familiar. And then, we were coming off of shows like Full House and Growing Pains and Silver Spoons. And those were all very safe. And then, I would say that they end, like that. And I would say, well, we don't want to do that. We want to be a little bit, thank God Roseanne had been kind of led the way. Mm-hmm. Everybody Loves Raymond. So we wanted to be a dysfunctional, but not actually, and not wear our color on our sleeve. Like that show was down the road and very diverse. Like, these guys, I would say, they would say, we're going to have a bad babysitter in an episode and we're going to cast Latinas. I said, no. We're going to cast everybody for different parts, and we're not going to make a babysitter bad, or we're not going to make a couple that need marriage counseling Latinos. They were Asian, and the other girl was a white girl babysitter. Like I just decided to tell those guys to make it everybody else, and we were the family in the house, and we did some really great things. But also, those characters were great, but also the writing was very good and above average writers. And I think at the end of the day, I think the writing and the genuine love that looked like was there between us was still very close, after 20 years, that those things were a perfect match.
But you never looked like you were acting. You looked like you were just being George Lopez. Lopez. There's a show. How did you pull that off, given that, because to look like you're not acting, you have to be acting. And to be able to pull that off, you're supposed to go to some school in New York where very wealthy people go to learn how to do that, Juilliard or some crap like that. I don't imagine that you went to Juilliard.
No.
Boy, what a surprise. I'm right.
I didn't go to the high school of performing arts in New York, LaGuardia High School. You know what I did realize? I realized I wasn't, there's some guys that you can talk to them forever. They're going to tell you that they're the greatest and they don't need this and they don't need that because they know it already.
Yeah.
I wasn't like that. I read with an actor in the middle of December, right before Christmas break, and he was an actor and I wasn't an actor. It was the guy Valente who got the part of my best friend. And I was so bad. And I remember, like a kid at a Little League game, you miss the ball, you look at your parents, and I looked at Bruce and Robert, and the look on their faces were like, no, it's all right. You don't have to read. But I knew that they saw in me, because I saw in their faces, they're like, can this fucking dude even act? What? We're right down the road. Has anybody ever asked you if you can act? No, sir. And after that day, I got back to my house. I called my manager and I said, hey, man, you got to find me an acting coach today.
Wow.
And I had this woman, Warner Laughlin, who I had her for 102 shows. I hired her, and then the show paid her, but she was with me all those years, and she's the person that got me to be able to look like I wasn't acting.
Yeah. Boy, I'll tell you, that's such an important lesson. We talk about that a lot. The idea that if there, you have to stand back sometimes in your life and look at your life like a mural that you're painting, and you can see in one corner, oh my God, it's missing some blue over there, or there's not enough paint on this side. Like if same as a garden, you bought 13 plants, but there's 17 feet. You're missing 4 feet of plants, and life is like that. Every once in a while, we got to stand back and go, oh shit, I forgot the acting lessons. I better go buy some. Or
I mean, there was no way that if I hadn't have seen it or even known to have felt it, that show wasn't going to survive.
God,
with me not taking acting lessons or having my coach with me every day.
That's how close that show came to being a disaster instead of the incredible hit it was. So you're about to unveil or are unveiling now something really cool and new. It's everywhere. I don't know. I can't turn on the TV or see. Tell me about it.
It's been on since November 4th, called Lopez versus Lopez, with my daughter, Mayan Lopez.
Great.
Who like me, when she was 12, she wanted to be on Saturday Night Live and she wanted to go to Second City, which she did. And Mayan's great. I mean, Mayan, has learned something that's not easy to learn in a short amount of time. And she's great on the show. And then all of a sudden there's a renewed interest in me because of her. Opportunities that are presenting themselves where they go to her and not necessarily me. And I like that. The idea, did I ever think that I would be doing a show with Mayan? Never. Could I have written it myself? No. And it came from a TikTok where a guy had made a TikTok about, me getting a kidney for my wife and then getting divorced. And, and Mayan took obsession to that, talking about her mom, and she twerked upside down and had a bag of money in her hand and, all this shit that doesn't mean anything, doesn't mean anything to me. And really kind of just putting everything out there. And I was like, and it was much more than I would have put out there, but I can't tell Mayan what to put out there. So Debbie Wolf saw the TikTok, started following Mayan, started to see these things, daddy issues and things like that. And she had her own issues with her own father. And she was working on the Connors, where Bruce Helford runs the Connors. He did my show, and she said to him, I got an idea for George and Mayan. You think they'd be interested in this? He goes, well, the only way to find out is to pitch it to them. So when they pitched it to me, where you're owning up to your responsibility for the first time and you didn't talk for years, and then you're very hard on each other. And when we hung up, I said, I forgot to ask if it was animation, because I thought only if you're painted yellow could you talk to somebody else like this. This isn't a show where I don't think humans would say this to each other. I mean, they're much more comfortable on Family Guy and American Dad and South Park, that was going to be the dialogue. But no, it was us. And it's funny because the same things are still there. We did the pilot, then you're waiting to see if the pilot got picked up. And then we've done the 13 episodes. And then tomorrow, December 2nd, we'll know whether we're going to continue, but everybody feels like they're going to continue. And there's things for me to do at NBC. But I told Fred Silverman in the elevator in the early 2000s that my dream job was to have a sitcom at NBC. And he said, maybe one day you will, George.
Wow. Yours is a great story, Vato.
Chico and the Man.
It really is.
I'm in the Sanford and Son time spot.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, Rick, it doesn't, I mean, I've manifested things that could have only been manifested and not ever been, I thought, would have ever happened in the real world.
Wow. Sometimes you pinch yourself and wonder if there isn't some other force out there in the universe that's making all these things happen, right?
I don't have the same problems I had growing up. I have a Range Rover with very high performance tires, and I was driving to a house that I have, and there was a spike in it, and I could have blown out. I mean, I spent 2 hours on the freeway. I could have blown out. So I bought a BMW X7 because I needed a car that had more durable tires. I mean, it's nothing like it's nothing like the way I was growing up.
Yeah, I think back to all the times I could have bid it. Plenty.
It got my attention because I was driving pretty fast and those tires are nothing. And
when did that happen? When did that happen?
This last over Thanksgiving. And I really felt like I dodged a bullet there. I wasn't about to let it happen again. So I got another car that I could drive.
Wow.
Consistent.
Well, a message, a signal. Somebody telling you, be careful, don't take shit for granted.
There was a white bat. There was a white bat flying in the house over there. Never seen a light color bat. Flew into the two rooms that I was in, and they were not close to each other. And, the mensaje from the bat is to believe what I feel and to believe what I think I see, because it's true.
Trust. Yeah, exactly. Bueno,
and again, it wasn't a human being that told me it was a fucking white bat.
I didn't even know white bats existed, man. It's like, okay.
I didn't know either. I could see a little skeletal frame. I was like, what? But he flew in a motion. He didn't flew like any of the dark bats. He flew beautiful, just, almost touching his wings and flew across in circles in those two rooms. And I'm like, I don't know what this is, but whatever he's got to say, I'm listening to.
I'm going to be looking for white bats from now on. George Lopez, we stand on your shoulders, my friend, for all that you have done. You are, I know, like me, you don't wear your Latino-ness on your shoulders or anything, pero at the same time, there are a lot of people who will find pride in your story and will be inspired by what you've done. And man, where that all came from. The stories you tell about when you were growing up with your grandmother and things that weren't so good in your life. And somehow you've been able to manifest all that into one heck of a great story. I mean, it's just really fun, man. It's fun knowing you. It's fun talking to you.
I appreciate you. Yeah, I have a great, I always respond really well to you, man. So thank you.
Gracias,
I have a lot of respect for you. I have a lot of respect for you as well.
Thank you, George. You're a good man. We appreciate it. Thanks again. George Lopez, the one and only. How about it, huh? How about it? Well, this is the Rick Sanchez podcast. We're a part of Agua Media. Of course, we're all over the place. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you happen to be watching this on the old YouTube-y thing, make sure you subscribe. Dale. Vamos con todo. Y hasta la próxima.
Agua.
Xin chào các bạn, mình tô một cái chanh này nha. Đây là tượng tô với cây màu đen nha mọi người. Đây là màu đen. Đây là màu đen. Đây mình đã hoàn thành một cái bức tranh nha các bạn. Bye bye.